Hello, my name's Stephen from K-Scale Models, and I'm just going to do a little tutorial on how to make basic weapons for gunpla. Now, first thing you need to do is work out how it connects to the model. So that's what this picture here is. It's for the wingdom, and it shows you the hand. So this is a basic drawing of what the hand looks like. If I come out of that, that is the shape that you need the gun or weapon to fit in. So, knowing this, let's move on and make our own weapon. So, first thing, let's get the handle done. So, I'm going to use constraints to make this all parallel. That should be, yep, that's fine. Now, from the picture here, we see that that should be 3.6. It should be a minimum of 5.4 high. And then this is about 1 millimeter. So, that's the basic handle shape. Now, that would just fit into the hand of the mobile suit. So let's extend it a little. I'm going to extend it to 5. So I'm going to use this to just make it a little longer. Make it 5 more millimeters. And there, that should be comfortably held by the model kit. So the next thing I need to work out is how wide is this thing. Now, that's what this is, 3.5. So that is to be 3.5. Now, this is the first trick I will show you. That will just make 3.5 in one direction. What I want instead is synchronize it and make the whole length 3.5. So that's what this is here. Half length means that it's 50-50 either side. Whole length is the whole thing is 3.5 millimeters. So why do I do that? It means your origin point is in the center of the weapon. This means you can use it to mirror things around, and we'll be using those later. So now what I'm going to be doing is making a basic housing. So I'm just going to constrain it to there, and I know that that needs to be no greater than about 17 millimeters. So I'm going to make that 10. Now, going forward from the grip onwards, I reckon 48 millimeters is about sufficient. Now, height, just make that 7. So, again, extrude that and make it synchronize. Whole length. Now, that was... Oh, hold on, what's going on here? Normally you can just tell it to go and make it the same with there, but it doesn't seem to be happy with that. But we know that was 3.5. But we want this to be wider. So we'll say it will be 6. So this makes it a sort of rectangular cubes. Oh, let's then go and make a bit of the front. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to be making a barrel. So I've got a couple of things I want to do with this. First thing is that. Now, there to there will be 0.8 seems fine. And I want this to be just above that. So I'm going to make a construction line. By pressing X, I'm making construction line. Make it flat. Now, this circle, no, can't dimension it. So, the reason I can't dimension it is because it's pretty much constrained. What I'm trying to do here, though, is I'm trying to make the barrel poke up a little over the housing. So, actually, go back to that. I'm going to make it poke up a little more. You'll see why in a minute. Make it 0.6 and make that, I'm going to make it 0.6 again actually, So, extrude the whole thing, or this. Start again. Extrude all that back to, I'll just say 30 millimeters. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take the sketch we were just working on and project this. Then offset that by 0.2. This will let a barrel fit in there. Now you can make it snug up against the wall, but I'll show you why I'm doing this later. So, first thing, do that, take it to there. Now, we're not joining, this is a new body. Again, I'll show you why in a minute. So, now we have that. So I want to finish this barrel off before I move on. Now, you can just do, what I'm going to do here is a rotate for the whole thing. But I want to do that bit first just to get the size. So, line here, this is our midpoint. I'll be rotating around this. So I'm going to go just do a little bit there, 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 and then, by the way, I'm pressing L for line. Circle is C, but some of these do not have nice easy ones such as arc. That's what I'm going to be using for this. Now, I'm going to move this all back. I'm going to dimension in a second. I just want to get a rough shape of what I'm dealing with here. And I want to make this, yeah, that's more like it. So, this is 0.8. This, I'll make 1. This, I'm going to make 1.1. I'm not actually interested in the radius of that. I'm more interested in its length. So I'm going to make that, I think actually I'll make that 5. Maybe longer actually. Let's dimension the rest of that and we'll work it out. So make that 4. Make that 1. And make this 6. And then I'll make this 8. Okay, so now rotate that around this and it will join. Now I'm going to get rid of that old sketch we're not using. So I'm going to do a few changes to that. So first off, this I'm going to make 0.6 actually. So it's a much more gentler curve. Now for this, project that, just so you know, I'm using 2 kind of projects, specific entity and body. Now, this means that I'm just, in this case, projecting this, whilst if I go to body, it will project the whole object, just the outline. Can be useful in certain circumstances. So, I want to offset. Offset, I'm using O for Oscar. And I'm going to make that 0.5. Now that's actually kind of small. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into here and make this a little bigger. And this is the thing with CAD. Don't be afraid to go back to the beginning and change something, because you will update all other shapes. If it doesn't, well, your model's broken, you'll have to go fix it. It happens. Now, last bit I'm going to do, make a little bit here. Now, project. In this case, I'm actually just going to project the whole thing because it makes it easier. Take a construction line. Join that onto there. Oh, make that 7.3. Make the height of that 0.8. And cut. This gives us a nice little beam effect. So that's that side done. Now back's rather barren, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and project this. Now this means I can go down, down, oop, and it all just disappeared. So undo. Now let's make this 4mm. Actually, let's make it 5.5. Make it a little taller. Make that 4, so slope back. As you can see, we didn't need to do a whole lot of dimensioning here. That won't dimension because it knows the length of that. So next thing we do is I'm going to extrude it out to here, and I'm going to do synchronized again. So thing you have to watch for this is that that's going to join all bodies. That includes the barrel. We don't want that. Again, I'll show you more in a minute. So that's has made that. Now scope's kind of bland. Let's go chamfer it. Now there's two types of chamfers. What I'm doing here is two directional. You get equal, but you also get distance and angle. To be honest, I never used that. Two direction or equal is probably the most useful. So that gives us a scope. It's rather thin and tall, but that's fine. Now let's go and give it an actual scope site. So project that, okay, offset by, I'm going to do 0.4. Now there is logic to some of the dimensions I'm using. 0.2 is about the smallest you can get on a resin printer, and 0.4 is about the smallest you get on an FDM printer. So try to avoid going below these figures because it won't work. So that gives us a little scope. Now what you could do is a little more advanced. You can go into draft, select the pull direction, then select the face. Now that's the face, and you can start making it go in different directions. So that's at 0 degrees. I'm going to just tilt it back by 5 degrees. Not quite the same angle as this, and in fact I'm going to bring it forward a little. There. So that's that. Now I want to finish off that barrel with just one last part, and it's not actually attached to the barrel. Project that, offset that by -0.2. What is this? This is a little peg to the barrel in place. So that's what I've been doing with this. The barrel is now a separate entity you can print out separately. Now, advantage of this is this thing is hollow. So if you're doing this on a resin printer, this could be a point of failure where you get distortions due to the fact that it'll be pulling a vacuum. And also, if you've got a hole like this and it's only going up halfway, it's a pain to get the resin out, trust me. So what I do is I make the barrel completely hollow, and this lets the resin drain out. Very simple. You can even poke something through if you really need to, like a spare sprue or something. So that's that. Now I want to make it a bit more detailed, but the back is kind of bugging me. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go and make that its own thing and extrude it back by about, we'll say 5mm. Because remember, we've got to make sure that there to there is not more than 17, or else it won't fit the kit. So I'm going to go and do that. Yeah, I'll leave it like that. But just for a bit of variety, I am also going to chamfer the bit here. Now this, if I remember right, was 5.5 millimeters. Now I'm wanting to make these two different angles. So yeah, that looks fine. So it gives the idea that this is a different thing to that, and when they were building it, this was slapped on top. So the next thing is that this is still looking very bland. So first thing to do, let's just add some random details. So great things for this is just circles. Now I'm going to be using these circles in a minute, but the more important ones here will be these sorts of rectangle bits. Now you notice that I'm just kind of plopping these down, I'm not dimensioning them straight away. That's because I come in and dimension them later. Now I want these all to be in parallel, but I'm not actually wanting them to be all the same, and I want to space them out differently. So I'll make that 4, make that 3, they're all going to be the same height, 5. You can see whenever a line is constrained, it turns black. So that means it's fully constrained and it cannot be moved. So, oh, that's the point. I need to say that that's going to be 1.5. So then that, we'll do 3.2 and make that 4. And then that is, I'll say, 6 millimeters. So you get the idea, it's not all the same. Actually, I'm going to move that a little closer. And I'm going to change that to 12. And there. So, onto the circles quickly. Circle, we'll make that 3 millimeters. We'll make that 2.5 from the edge. And then this, I'm going to make 2.6 from there. From there, we'll make it 4.2 or 3. Then we'll do that. What's that one? 3 millimeters. So we'll do 3 again. Again, it just keeps it all nice and simple. So this goes in minus 0.3. That creates nice detail that will be picked up on a resin printer. Now, save us having to do that all again for the other side, I'm just going to hit mirror. So mirror that around origin. Hence why I say keep the origin in the middle, where you can. So that's that side. Now, there's no detail like that underneath. Now, you could do that, but I've got a better idea. Although I want to do something... Should it? No, I'll do it this way first. So again, just project all these dimensions or parts, draw a line there to there, and say that is 0.3, and then extrude that from there to there. So that's that. Now, a couple of things I want to do. This is looking a bit plain down the bottom, so I'm going to put fillets in. Now let's see. 1 millimeter fillets. Yeah, that looks good. What if I do that? Nah, that doesn't look so good. What if I did that? Keep the end square. Okay. Now I'm just going to do a little chamfer along the top. So, 2 types of chamfers. And I'm going to use the 2 direction ones rather than the equals. Actually, no, I think I'm going to use the equals. Because all I'm going to do is a little one at 0. I think 0.5 might be a bit much. I'll just try though. Say 0.4. What about 3? Yeah, a little chamfer gives it a bit more detail. Actually, can I apply it around these bits? Does that do anything? Yeah, that does something. So you can also chamfer these bits. Let's see how that looks. Not so great there. Yeah, I'll do that. And while I'm doing that, I'm also going to chamfer in. No, not that. There. There. Bit of extra detail. Now, to be honest, the back bit there is a bit plain. I'll come back to it in a minute. I'm going to go and add some details into these big holes. Now, circle. Make that, say, 0.5. That sounds good to me. Again, all we're trying to do there is just trying to get a bit of detail. So we want to make sure that it's big enough that the printer's going to pick it up. So why am I drawing this hex? So this hex will be a bolt. Now, you can actually get bolts from the Fusion 360 software, but I like to just draw my own. Basically, this is how you would draw a hex. You draw a circle. In this case, I'm going to make it inside this circle. And as before, that was 0.5. Then you draw all the lines you need. And then you make them all equal. Because if they're all equal, that will form a hex. Now, it does go a bit skewy when you do this at first, but you get there. Now, what I'll do with these is these will come out as 0.2. So, not quite to the edge, but that's on purpose. So then, again, we'll just mirror that over, because we're using our origin lines, our planes. And there. So a little bit of detail. So what do we add at the back here? I know. This is going to be the side that sticks out. So, magazine. Make that 15. Oh, make that 7. So, what are we going to do height-wise? I think I'm going to try to line it up with that. So, I'm using X for construction line, and there. Now, how does that look? Okay, so add some detail here. First off, let's give it some ribs. Now, in a magazine of this size, I'd expect it to be pretty much solid, but oh well. See a lot of ribs on magazines. This is to give it strength. So we'll just add those, actually. Easier way. Mirror that over that. Now I just need to change these up the top and everything changes. So 2.5, 2.5. Actual fact, I'm just going to make it even easier. That and that equals, that and that equals, that and that equals, and that equals. But they are also there. So I'm going to make them a little deeper. I'm going to make them 3mm. Yeah, that looks fine. So then 2.5. We have some ribs. So Now, the bottom, we will need something over it. I'm just going to use 1mm. What I could have done is I could have just offset that from the original drawing, but there now, so I think that's actually a bit too much. So 1.2, go back here and do that 0.8. There. So now we need something for that to actually slot into. In actual fact, let's go back to here and make it a new part. New body. So, project. It's going to have to be just getting all this bits. Actually, again, I could have just used the original drawing. Or I could have used the actual other face, the one that's actually connected to that face. So now let's go and draw some sort of magazine well. Now I do want this to stick out over the actual magazine part, so I don't know, mentioning off the wrong thing. Now take this body off. Oh, actually, no, I think I should do offset this. It's not going to do that. So this is going to be a bit of a pain, because the way I grabbed the dimensions or the shape for those was not quite right, and it's doing weird things. Right, so why am I offsetting everything by 0.2 again? It's so that it will actually fit, because this is going to be a separate part, remember. So, make that 1.5. So now when we add that back in, we've got a magazine well. So there. Now, is there anything else I need to do with that? Probably not. Might just chamfer the edges. Chamfer is a good way of just adding a bit of extra looking detail. So there. Now, this side, I'm going to actually make a carry handle. So, easiest way to do that would be that, make that, we'll just say 4, make that 3.5, line these two up. Oh. Actually, yeah, that'll do. Will be a bit offset, but that's fine. This is where I need to go back and refer to my previous drawing. Because I need to find out how big this should be. So first things first, go to here. So the hand size is about 3.6. Although if you go there to there, it's 3.5. So that should be fine at that, because I'm going to be drinking it down. The overall length was about 5, so I'm going to make this 8. That should keep it, actually, make it 10. Give it plenty of room. Now, extrude this out to, let's just double check. Now, if I remember right, this was 3.5. But there is these bits either side, which is about 1, what's that, 2.6. So, yeah, that'll be fine. Now, I'll probably bring it in actually. I'll just do this first. I'm going to say 3.4, just double check, was that 3.5, so 3.4 should be good enough. Then extrude that to there, and we have a carry handle. Now, that's a bit far out, isn't it? Let's just double check. So, I'm going to just make a sketch here, project that. 3.10. Now, would that fit? That should fit. Even if I did that there. Yeah, that will fit. So, 3.1. Yeah, I'm going to call that fine. So that's a little carry handle that should work for that. So, okay, that's the basic rifle done. I'm going to go and just update this. So, first thing I want to do is I actually want to make it a sort of enclosed grip. So, do that. There to there. Oh no, I want that to be all parallel. And then there to there, we'll say 6. Should get 5. That should give plenty of room to get the hand in. And we'll say that, oh no, that as 2. Make that also 2. So now we have a nice grip. And now I'm going to make a bit more detail here. So just like what I was doing up the other side, make that parallel, make that 0.3, 2.7. I'm going to just go make this easier. So these two, direction that, make, yeah, 3. Okay, so extrude all of these by minus 0.3, mirror over to the other side, via that. So that's looking good. I'm gonna just do more chamfers. And just makes it look nice. I even just do a chamfer in here actually. And one last thing I'm going to do, put a trigger in. So project that. Go. Make it very small because we don't want it to really interfere with this. Make that, ooh, we don't want it the whole length. 0.8, all both directions combined. Yeah, do it that way. And then do a fillet there to give it the impression that it moves. And there we go. Seems we've still got one thing still on there. So that is a basic rifle made in, what, a couple of minutes? So that's how you would add detail and make things in Fusion 360 for Gunpla. As you see, this should all work as 3 separate parts, so makes it easy for printing. That's another thing. This design shape, probably not going to need all that many supports here, here, and a bit here. And if you did it that way instead, to be honest, I would just do it this way. And then for the rest, the barrel you'd print like that. The magazine you could either print that way or probably just use the supports there. So yeah, that would be fairly easy to make on a resin printer. FDM might need supports if you were printing it, and I would probably print it vertically. So yeah, that's that.